Good afternoon. I'm here with Kerissa Varma she is the managing executive for cybersecurity at Vodacom and the president of the Women in Cybersecurity, the Southern African affiliate. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm interested in how you get to where you are at the moment.
That's such an interesting question because, uh, to tell you the honest truth, I thought I was going to become a doctor way back when. Started studying med school, realized I don't like touching people, so being a doctor would probably be a bad job for me.
With
Um,
gloves.
yeah, very far away from it as well. And I decided, well, maybe touching computers was something more that I was more tuned to. Got a bursary to study in Malaysia, 4 years in Malaysia, came back, got taken into a cybersecurity team, kicking and screaming. Was my first job ever in technology
Where?
at Telkom.
Okay.
And I've been across so many different industries, always in cybersecurity, and pretty much every role that is in cyber. And now I get up cybersecurity for Vodacom Group.
All right. So, um, before we get to the Vodacom piece, I'm interested in your presidency of the Women into Cybersecurity local chapter. Um, why do you need to have a? You don't need to accept men. Is it just for women?
So actually, our conference that we had in March, we had an all-male panel talking about gender equity because I believe it's a conversation that both men and women should be having.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but if so, why do we need? I mean, is it because women are woefully underrepresented in cyber?
Yeah.
And this is we're trying to fix this.
Exactly right. So I mean, there's been so many conferences, so many boardrooms that I've walked into where I've been the only woman leader at the table, um, and it's not something that I believe should be normal. It's something that we have to do something to change. And I think instead of sort of sitting back and paying lip service to a problem, I really wanted to do something constructive to solve the challenges that we have. And RESIS gives me the opportunity to build a community of both men and women that are invested in gender equity.
Okay, so the reasons are quite well known. I would imagine like a STEM lack of STEM women in STEM girls in coming up through the pipeline. Um, and once they do get there, they're not made to feel especially welcome. Unwanted attention is how I heard it described the other day. Um, yeah, what else can you think of?
Yes, I mean, I think it's a multifaceted problem. So if you think 20 years back, and you think who was in technology, it was predominantly men. There were no women in technology 20 years ago.
Sure.
So we're coming from a history that's far worse than where we are from a diversity perspective. And a challenge like that doesn't get solved overnight. So you don't wake up one morning and go, well, we're doing 50-50 gender equity. It takes constructive work year on year to build towards. I think for me, what's very encouraging is we're starting to tip the scale. So we're starting to solve the challenges of the past, but we still have a socioeconomic environment that, especially in Africa, along with societal norms, that still constricts what a woman can and can't do. I was having a conversation with a very young girl, a student, a few years back, and it always sticks in my mind. She was bubbling, bursting with energy, wants to get into cybersecurity. And we were having lunch together, and her face just drops. And I go, "Why? What's why are you so upset?" And she's, "Well, I believe I can do it. My grades are good. I'm so passionate about cyber. But when I go back home into my community, I'm told that a woman is only fit for one thing." And this was 3 years ago. So I'm not talking about something that's happened 10 years
And
ago.
that's about marriage. It's
It's
marriage
about it's about getting married. It's about having a home.
or
So our
kids.
societal norms are still very much, while we're progressive, and a lot of our world is now starting to change in the grassroots, in the townships, in the communities that are hard to reach. We are still very our thinking around women is sometimes still quite backward.
So, how are you then quantifying your success? I
Yeah,
mean,
good question.
how do you actually judge if you're
Yeah, it's a
making
good
a
question.
difference?
So I think for me, one of the big things about Research is community. And I'm really proud about the fact that we started to build a massive community. So Research Southern Africa is only 2 years old. We're still a baby, but we've got 1,000 followers on LinkedIn. We have um, more than 150 women on our WhatsApp channel. And these women engage with each other all the time. If you ask me how do I measure success, and right now it's incidentally, but I was walking around the conference floor today, and one of the ladies stopped me and she said, I was on the WeSys WhatsApp group, and I reached out to another woman on the group and I said, I'm young, I'm a grad, I want to grow, I want an opportunity. And I've been with her now for 6 months, I've got a new opportunity, and I'm absolutely loving it.
Amazing.
And then her boss says to me, and she's brilliant, like, where was this diamond in the rough that I couldn't see? Just bringing us all together has allowed us to actually hear those voices that are at the grassroots, hear those girls trying to come up into cyber and take chances and give them the opportunity. And for me, those stories are really what makes, I do WeSys as part on top of a full-time job, but it makes WeSys so fulfilling for me when I do that.
Yeah, no, it's a network. And the how long has the global body been going?
Oh, it's quite a while. I don't have the exact date, but they've been around for quite a while. Started in the US. They've got affiliates all over the world. They're backed by some of the biggest tech companies out there. Palo Alto, Microsoft, AWS, all the big tech giants are behind them. And I think everyone really understands that with diversity comes. And if you think about it, our adversaries are really diverse, right? They're from all over the world. They're just really a diverse bunch of people that are attacking us. The more diversity we get into cybersecurity, the better we are at understanding that landscape and being able to react to it. So I think a lot of the big global tech giants have realized that they have to partner with an organization like WeSys to be able to sustainably solve these challenges.
Indeed. I don't know if you've heard the speech by Mark earlier about how they are find out the gender of the
Yes,
attackers. Yes,
fascinating, hey? Yeah.
and they still mostly men on that side.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And he said you probably don't want to start enforcing gender among hackers because they
Yes,
shouldn't be hackers.
exactly. You don't want a diversity target there.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I just want to kind of like just draw you a bit further on that question of accountability because it's a very slow kind of journey. And I mean, I've been, writing about technology for 7, 8 years now, and since the beginning, I've heard about the story of more diverse teams make better products. We haven't got enough women. We haven't got enough girls coming through the pipeline, and it's just it's a real slow battle, and it's a real slow thing that has to happen.
Yeah.
And this problem is going to be with us for decades probably.
And it's worse in pockets. I think we're getting better in certain areas of cybersecurity.
Like what?
So if you look at governance, risk, and compliance, we actually have quite a bit of females going into governance, risk, and compliance.
Okay.
We have a lot of females going into awareness. We don't have a lot of females at the deeply technical components of cyber and the senior leadership levels. That's where we're really struggling. We're struggling with those deep technical skills and the senior leadership positions. And one of the things that's also really powerful about this is we're trying to be a role model. We're trying to say it is doable because I think a lot of times women take themselves out of the running. They don't even throw their hat into the ring because they think it's too hard. Cyber's too technical for me. It's too difficult a career. Um, and so we're trying to position women who have done it, role models that are deeply technical, that have, all great expertise, and put them together with young girls. They can see it's something they can do. And what I really love about WeSys as well is we're taking the most senior people in cyber, the most senior females in cyber, and we're putting them directly connected to our young girls. So there's no hierarchy. There's no airs and graces. You have direct access. At one of our events, we all talk to each other like we all come from the same place. So for me, I think that role modeling to solve both the deeply technical side and the leadership side is so important and unlocking in our own minds that we can do it.
What's the gender split in your cyber department at Vodacom?
Close to 50-50 actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So would you say that was a more of a kind of, so you have been more intentionally hiring more women, or is it just that's just the way?
We have, So we've actually applied a policy where we try and be very careful about the diversity in general students in who we interview. And we found that if we are very careful about who we interview, we tend to have better outcomes when we hire from a diversity in general perspective. Um, and but I mean, I also have the same challenges. I'm not saying like I've solved everything. Once again, the ladies that I have, very few of them in my cyber defense team. The people that are threat hunting, that pen testing, very few of them are women. And I'm struggling to find females in that. So we need to create the female talent in those spaces.
I mean, I have got very little technical knowledge about cyber, but it must be. I mean, I can't imagine a worse, uh, a worse target to be compromised than a telco, other than a bank, but probably worse as a telco because telcos are almost banks these days anyway.
We connect everyone.
Yeah, and so I mean, I don't think any detail about your any detail as much comfortable as you're giving about what your daily life looks like.
So I mean, I'm very blessed at Vodacom, to be honest. I think it's an organization that really takes cybersecurity very seriously. If you look at our financial statements, for example, cyber is one of our top risks, and we treat it as a top risk. So the investment, the focus, the people, the culture is all directed towards that being a top risk because we realize we're an integrator, we're a connector. And so, our posture is hugely important, not just us, but to our customers as well. So I'm very blessed from that perspective. But I think if you ask any CISO out there, the job is not a walk in the park. It's never a walk in the park. But I think we're also a little bit of adrenaline junkies. We become over time addicted to the speed and addicted to the fast pace and addicted to the change and the continuous adaptation. Like if you ask me, what does my day look like? It looks completely different every day, completely different. And I don't know any other field where I can have that amount of diversity and that amount of exposure across the length and breadth of an organization, other than cyber.
And do you do any kind of training, awareness training?
Of course, all big corporates do awareness training.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge. I mean, I think most people out there will tell you people are either your biggest asset or your biggest liability.
Yeah.
But I think also you train and you educate, but you also have to plan for failure because nobody's bulletproof. And I mean, you heard the talks this morning.
Sure.
People are just finding increasing tactics to be able to compromise us. So you have to almost have a layered strategy to say, well, if I'm compromised, it shouldn't be everything compromised.
Sure.
You have to have
segmentation,
different control to try and protect how far an attacker can go.
Are you implementing any kind of zero trust kind of initiatives in your company?
Yeah, I think most big corporates are.
Sure.
But I think it's
so that's identity management.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's also it's a lot. It's zero trust. It's like I think it's become such a huge buzzword.
Yeah.
But it's not a silver bullet, and it's not something that you do at like the flip of a switch.
Yeah.
It's almost like a strategy that you need to work on. It's a change of the way we do technology. It's a change of the way a business operates. It's not just a cyber capability that you just put a technology in there and you get it and go. It's a change really the way you behave as a technology team and as a company. And so that will take many years for most corporates to get to a point where we can go with completely zero trust.
And who's your CEO?
Shamil.
Shamil.
Yeah.
And does he do training?
Of course.
Is it?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, I'm at our Exco in a few weeks' time to do another training session.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. I think that's all of the questions I have for you here. You're going to be chairing a panel on the human element of cybersecurity. I suppose the one question I do have, if you just think about just the general cyber landscape, I mean, you're an optimist, right?
Of course, you have to be.
Okay.
You have to be.
I'm a pessimist. I mean, I just seem to think that it's just so hard to, you just got to keep up every day, carrying on.
I'm honestly an eternal optimist, and I think that's why I've been able to survive this field for so long. I think if you get stuck in the we can't get out of the mess and we can't get out of the and the bad is worse than the good, you will never take a step forward because you'll be frozen by fear. And my approach has never been to be frozen by fear. My approach has always been to say, how do we take the good and the bad and do the best that we can and just take that next step forward? Just take one step at a time, just keep improving. And that continuous improvement will put you slightly ahead of the guys that are frozen. And that being slightly ahead of the guys that are frozen makes you a harder target for an attacker.
Yes. Thank you. So we can find your Women in Cybersecurity. You got a website?
We do have a website.
Okay.
Yes, we've got a LinkedIn page,
Okay.
Facebook, all of that good stuff.
We'll find you there.
Yes.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.